welcome back to Extopa Phyla NEET Academy. Today we are going to deal with Chordata, phylum Chordata. Till Hemichordata we have covered yesterday, and today we will be starting phylum Chordata and the basic characters, fundamental features of phylum Chordata. Then we will be learning about the different classes in phylum Chordata. And after completing the chapter, we will be doing some MCQs of this chapter. Okay, let's start. Phylum Chordata. Phylum Chordata, what does the mean Chordata means? Chordata means because of the presence of notochord. Okay, so it is the first point to be noted, presence of notochord. And a dorsal, the first point is presence of notochord, and the second point is the presence of dorsal hollow nerve cord. It is dorsal, the nerve, there is a nerve cord and the nerve cord is dorsal and it is hollow. Hollow means there is nothing inside, it is hollow. And they also have paired pharyngeal gill slits. Okay, clear? And they are bilaterally symmetrical. Since it is the highest phyla in kingdom Animalia, it will be having all the prominent characters, right? Bilaterally symmetrical, triploblastic, coelomate, organ system level of class organization. Clear? And additional feature is that it is having a post-anal tail, which means there is a anal tail in the posterior side. Okay, clear? And a closed circulatory system. So what all are the features? The first feature is that they are, as the name suggests, they are having a notochord. Then they have a dorsal hollow nerve cord. Then as we know the basics, bilaterally symmetrical, triploblastic, coelomate and closed circulatory system. And additional point is that they are having a post-anal tail. Clear? Now just see the table. It is a comparison between chordates and non-chordates. Okay, chordates, in chordates notochord is present, whereas in non-chordate is absent. Okay, central nervous system is dorsal, which means central nervous system is the presence of nerve cord. Okay, the nerve cord is dorsal, hollow and single in chordates. Clear? And it is ventral. Ventral means, dorsal means it is in the back side. Okay, this is dorsal, this is ventral. So dorsal, the nerve cord is dorsal, hollow and single in chordates, whereas it is ventral, the direct opposite, ventral, solid and it is also double in non-chordates. Clear? And the pharynx, the chordates is having pharynx with perforated gill slits. Okay, whereas gill slits are absent in non-chordates. Heart is ventral. In chordates, the heart is ventral. Okay, and in non-chordates it's dorsal. A post-anal tail is present. Here the post-anal tail is absent. Now going deep into the phylum Chordata. The phylum Chordata can again be divided into three subphyla. Okay, what are the three subphyla? They are Urochordata or Tunicata, which means they are the same thing only. Urochordata, they can be known as Urochordata or Tunicata. So it is the first subphylum. The second subphylum is Cephalochordata and the third subphylum is Vertebra. Okay, so there are three subphyla. One is Urochordata, then the second one is Cephalochordata and the third one is Vertebrata, and Urochordata is also known as Tunicata. Clear? And now let's see what are the features of these each and every subphyla. Okay, Urochordata, these Urochordata plus the Cephalochordata together are known as protochordates. What is that? Urochordates. Okay, Urochordates, Urochordata plus Cephalochordata, Urochordata plus Cephalochordata forms protochordata, Clear? Okay, now just see the features, the individual features of Urochordata. Okay, Urochordata. Now what is the significance of notochord in Urochordata? The notochord is only present in the larval tail, which means only the larva, the tail of the larva contains notochord in the subphyla Urochordata, which means an organism in the subphyla of Urochordata will be having notochord only at its larval tail. Clear? Only at its larval tail. Urochordata is having at larval tail. Okay. Then what about Cephalochordata? Cephalochordata is having notochord from head to tail, whereas Urochordata has only in its tail, but Cephalochordata has it from its head to tail and it persists lifelong. Clear? From birth till death. Okay. And what about Vertebrata? Vertebrata, the notochord is only present in the embryonic period. What about vertebrata? Vertebrata, the notochord is present only in the embryonic period and it will be replaced. Okay, clear? So these three features you have to note. And now let's see each examples for each of them. Okay, Urochordata. What is the example for Urochordata? Acidia and Salpa. What is the examples? Acidia, Salpa, Doliolum. For this I have kept it as ADS, adds. Okay, Urochordata is adds. Acidia, Doliolum, Salpa. Acidia, Doliolum and Salpa. Okay, clear? And what about Cephalochordata? Cephalochordata is having Cephalochordata, the example for Cephalochordata is Branchiostoma. What is it? Branchiostoma. Okay. And what about vertebrates? Vertebrates is all the vertebrates that we are going to study. In the later part of this chapter, we are going to study the different classes in subphylum vertebrate. Okay, clear? And this subphylum vertebrata possesses notochord only in the embryonic period, and this notochord is later replaced by cartilaginous structure, cartilaginous or bony vertebral column. Clear? Which means the notochord was present in the embryonic period and this notochord is later replaced by a cartilaginous or bony skeleton. Okay, clear? Bony vertebral column, and now it is known as vertebral column. When it was present in the early embryonic period, it is known as notochord, and the notochord is replaced, and now that structure is known as vertebral column. Okay, and that is made of cartilaginous or bony. Okay, clear? And so this is a PYQ. Just note this sentence because this is important as per your NEET is concerned, because it can come as assertion reason question. It even came as an assertion reason question. Okay, all the vertebrates are chordates. Okay, all the vertebrates are chordates, but all the chordates are not vertebrates. Okay, then besides the basic characters that the other chordates possess, they have some additional characters. So let's see what are the additional characters that vertebrates are having. They are having a ventral muscular heart. What is it? They are having a ventral muscular heart with 2, 3 or 4 chambers. Okay, in different classes they are having 2, 3 or 4 chambers. Clear? Then they are having kidneys for excretion and osmoregulation, and they also have paired appendages. Which means, what is appendages? Appendages are the structures which are used for locomotion. Okay, so they have paired appendages which can be either fins or limbs. Limbs means what we have? Means we have upper limb and lower limb, and fins are for other class of vertebrates. Clear? Okay, maybe fins or limbs. Now going into the classification. Okay, vertebrata. This subphylum vertebrata can be divided into agnatha and gnatostomata. What is agnatha? A means absence. A is equal to absence. So agnatha means absence of jaw. Okay, without jaw. Agnatha is without jaw, and gnatostomata is those organism which is having jaw. Okay, and in this agnatha comes the class Cyclostomata. Clear? And in the gnatostomata comes 2 superclasses. We just studied that kingdom, phylum, class, just like that. But in between there are something which we haven't studied. They are this subphylum, superclass, all these things. Okay, but you don't have to give so much importance to it. Just as for our understanding, they have given it. Okay. In this gnatostomata, there is superclass. There are 2 superclass, Pisces and Tetrapoda. Okay, Tetrapoda means they have limbs. As I said, the vertebrates can be having paired appendages, and these appendages can be fins or limbs. If they are having fins, then they are known as Pisces. If they are having limbs, then they are known as limbs. Okay, clear? And what are the classes in Pisces? The classes are chondrichthysis and osteochthysis. Chondrichthysis and osteochthysis. And in tetrapoda means they bear the limbs, not fins but limb. Limb means what we have. Okay, they are amphibia, reptilia, aves and mammals. Now we are going to study in detail about all these class. Okay, this class Cyclostomata, chondrichthysis, osteochthysis amphibia, reptilia, aves and mammals. Okay, so going into the first class. Okay, first class. All living members of class Cyclostomata, all living members of class Cyclostomata are ectoparasites. What are they? They are ectoparasites on some fishes. They are ectoparasites on some fishes. Okay, they have an elongated body. They have an elongated body which is having 6 to 15 pairs of gill slits. So the first point that you have to notice that they are ectoparasites. They are ectoparasite on fishes. Okay, they are ectoparasites on fishes. Then they have 6 to 15 pairs of gills. They have 6 to 15 pairs of gill slits. Clear? Okay, and what is the use of this gill slits? The use of the gill slits are for respiration. Okay, now just see what is the specialty of their mouth. They are having mouth which is ventral. Okay, they have mouth. Wait a minute. Okay, please note this. They have 6 to 15 pairs of gill slits and they have a sucking and circular mouth. They have a sucking and circular mouth. They are having circular and sucking. They suck their food and all their activity is like by sucking. Okay, which means their mouth will look something like this, which is circular and sucking in type. Okay, and what is their main specialty? They are not having jaws, without jaws. So they are in the subgroup of Agnatha, which means jawless. Okay, they have a sucking and circular mouth without jaws. Okay, and what is the other specialty? The other specialty is that they are devoid of scales. While we are cleaning the fish, have you seen a raw fish? A raw fish will be having so many scales on the body. Okay, so this class Cyclostomata doesn't have scales, which means they don't have that scales over their body. Okay, clear? And they are also having paired fins. Clear? What is fins? This is what they meant by this structure. This structure is what they meant by fins. Okay, so they are having paired fins. Now the cranium and vertebral column are cartilaginous. As we said, the notochord will be replaced by cartilaginous or bony structure. In Cyclostomata, it is replaced by cartilaginous structure. So they are having cartilaginous vertebral column. Okay. Then circulation is of closed type. As we studied, it is of closed type. Okay. Then they are usually marine. Okay, these organisms are usually marine, but you know what? These organisms while they are in adult form, they migrate from the oceans to the freshwater. They migrate from the ocean to their freshwater. This is freshwater, and they comes to the freshwater. The adult organism come into the freshwater. Why they comes into the freshwater? For their reproductive processes. Okay, so in freshwater they will lay the eggs. And they will die. Okay, the adult organism will come to the freshwater, migrate to the freshwater to lay eggs, and then they will die. Okay, and now the larva develops and migrate back to ocean. Okay, clear? So just read, they are marine but migrate for spawning to freshwater. Okay, after spawning, within a few days they will die. And their larvae, they are not laying eggs, but their larvae, they are having larvae. This larvae will, after metamorphosis, what is metamorphosis? Metamorphosis means the larvae changing into the adult form. That process, the process in which the larvae is changed into its adult form is known as metamorphosis. Clear? Okay, after metamorphosis they will return to the ocean. Okay, and what are the examples for these class Cyclostomata? What are the examples? The first example is Petromyzon, also known as lamprey. Petromyzon or also known as lamprey, and Myxine, which is also known as hagfish. All the examples, I am saying you again and again, all the examples of each and every class is important, and they can ask it as match the following, filling the blanks, and match the following they can ask it as statement, questions, even just one word. They can even ask it as one word. This organism is also known as, just like that. Okay, clear? And just see, here we have studied the examples. Okay, not this. Now going into the class, next class is chondrichthysis. What are chondrichthysis? Chondrichthysis are streamlined organism which are having streamlined body. Okay, this is the second class which is belonging into Gnatostomata, which means they have jaw. Okay, and this chondrichthysis is having fins instead of limb. Okay, they are having paired fins. Okay, chondrichthysis are having a streamlined body which means they are having a, this is what they meant by streamlined body. Okay, they are having a streamlined body and they have cartilaginous exoskeleton. Their name chondrichthysis. Chondric means cartilaginous. Okay, so these organisms are having cartilaginous endoskeleton. Clear? Okay, and their mouth is located ventrally. Their mouth is located ventrally, which means this is their mouth. Just see. Okay, the thing which I am drawing is their mouth. Just see clearly, this is their mouth, which means their mouth is ventrally located. This is the organism and their mouth is located ventrally. Clear? Okay, mouth is located ventrally. And notochord is persistent throughout the life. Notochord is persistent throughout the life. Which subphylum has notochord persistent throughout the life? It was Cephalochordata. Clear? Okay, and this is also having notochord throughout the life. Then gill slits are separate and without operculum. These organisms are also having gill slits, but there is one point that you have to note, it is having gill slits without operculum. Okay, the gill slits are separate but they are not having operculum. Operculum means the covering of gill slits. Okay, operculum is absent in chondrichthysis. Clear? Okay. Then the skin is tough. The skin of the organism is tough and they also have some scales, placoid scales. What do you mean by placoid scale? The scales means the substance which is over the organism. Okay, so the fish, this organism will be having scales which looks like this. Okay, this is what they meant by placoid scales. Okay, and this, they are having teeth. Their teeth is also a modified placoid scale. Okay, you just have to remember the point. Their teeth are modified placoid scales. Okay, and their teeth are backwardly directed. Clear? Now their jaws are powerful. Since they are having jaw, their jaws are also powerful. Okay, these animals are predaceous. Means they catch their prey, and okay, so they are predaceous due to the absence of air bladder. This is a point to be noted because there is a comparison between chondrichthysis and osteichthysis. They are having opposite characters. Okay, now we will just read this. They are not having air bladder, which means the absence of air bladder will necessitate them, which means since they are not having air bladder, they have to swim in the water to avoid sinking in the water, which means because of the absence of air bladder, they have to swim all over in their life to avoid sinking. Clear? They have to swim constantly to avoid sinking. And what about the heart? The heart is two-chambered. Heart is two-chambered, which means they have two chambers of the heart. One is auricle and the one is ventricle. One is auricle, this is their heart, and this one is auricle and this one is ventricle. Clear? Okay. And some of them, now we are going into the examples of class chondrichthysis. Okay, what are the examples? The electric organs. They have, some of them are having electric organs in them. So those organisms are known as torpedo, which means torpedo is having electric organ in them. Okay, then the next one is trigone. What is trigone? Trigone is an organism of class chondrichthysis which possesses a poison sting. Okay, which is having a poison sting. Then there are cold-blooded animals. Cold-blooded also known as poikilothermus. Okay, two things you have to note: poikilothermus and homeothermus. Poikilothermus means cold-blooded animals, which means they can't regulate their own temperature. Homeothermus are organisms which can regulate their temperature, which can regulate their body temperature. Okay, so this class chondrichthysis belongs to poikilothermus, which means they can't regulate their body temperature. Clear? And the sexes are separate, which means the female and male sexes are separate. Okay, and in males the pelvic fins bears claspers. So just remember this. To identify, to differentiate between the female and male organisms, there will be fins in the pelvic, there will be fins in the claspers. There will be fins in the claspers of male organism. Okay, there will be pelvic fins. The fins means this is there. This is the organism, right? So they are having many fins, and in their pelvic fin they will be having claspers. If they are having claspers in their pelvic fins, they are to be identified as male organisms. Clear? As we studied in Acoelomates, the long organism will be female, because females are longer than males in Acoelomates. Okay, clear? And this was a PYQ. So note it. Then they are having internal fertilization, and many of them are viviparous. Okay. Oviparous, which means which lays the egg, and viviparous, which doesn't lay the egg to deliver their babies. Okay, clear? And now seeing the examples. Examples are important. Once again, Scoliodon, dogfish. Scoliodon is known as dogfish. Pristis, sawfish. This is Pristis. Okay, this is Pristis. Okay, so this is sawfish and this is dogfish. Clear? And Carcharodon, which means great white shark. And Trigon. Trigon is otherwise known as stingray, because they are having poisonous sting on them. Okay. Now coming into the next class Osteoctids. Okay, class Osteoctids, which are marine and freshwater fishes with bony endoskeleton. Okay, bony endoskeleton. Their body is streamlined, as we studied in Chondrites. Their body is also streamlined. Their mouth is terminal, which means their mouth are present in the terminal side. Which, see, in this Osteoctids, the mouth is terminal, which means the mouth is terminal to the body. This is the body of the organism, and the mouth is terminal to the body. Clear? Now they are having gill slits. They are having 4 pairs of gills, which are covered by operculum. Okay, covered by operculum. Operculum I have already discussed. It is the cover for their gill slits. Okay, and what about their scales? They are having scales, and their scales are known as ctenoid or cycloid, and this scales will look something like this. The scales will be looking like this. The scales will look like this. Okay, the scales will look like this. Whereas the placoid scales, which we studied in Chondrites, looks like this. Okay. Now they possess air bladder. Okay, they possess air bladder. The Chondrites doesn't possess air bladder, but Osteoctids possess air bladder, and they regulate because since the air bladder can regulate buoyancy, they don't have to swim consistently. Okay, and their heart is 2-chambered, 1 auricle and 1 ventricle. They are also cold-blooded animals. Their sexes are also separate. Okay, they are mostly oviparous. What do you mean by oviparous? Oviparous means they lay egg. Okay, they lay egg to produce their younger ones. Okay, and the development is direct. And now going into examples, Exochetus. These are so important examples, and this came multiple times in NEET as the following. Okay, Exochetus, flying fish, hippocampus, seahorse, freshwater, labio, rohu. Okay, Exochetus is flying fish, hippocampus is seahorse, and in freshwater you can see labio, which is also known as rohu, cutla, then clarias, which is also known as maggot, aquarium, which means in aquarium you can see betta is also known as fighting fish, and then you can see pterophyllum, which is also known as angelfish. Clear? These are the examples. And now let's see what are the difference between Chondrites and Osteoctids. Okay, Chondrites. What about Chondrites? Chondrites are having cartilaginous endoskeleton. Okay, so there we will write it here. Okay, C for chondrichthysis and O for the osteochthysis. And here we will write the property. Okay, what about their endoskeleton? The endoskeleton of chondrichthysis is cartilaginous. The endoskeleton of osteochthysis is bony. Okay, this is cartilaginous and this is bony. Okay, now what about their mouth? What about their mouth? Their mouth is in chondrichthysis, their mouth is ventral. What about osteochthysis? Their mouth is terminal. Okay. Now what about their heart? Heart is same. Both are having two chambered heart, and one is auricle and one chamber is auricle and the other one is ventricle. So we are not writing it because there is no difference. Okay. Now what about their scales on them? The chondrichthysis is having placoid scale. What is that? Placoid scale. Whereas osteochthysis is having cycloid or ctenoid scale. Clear? And what about the air bladder? What about air bladder? The air bladder is absent. Air bladder is absent in chondrichthysis and it is present in osteochthysis. So these are the difference. Just note these difference, and both are poikilothermous, which means cold blooded. Both are in both the sexes are separate, and there is one more difference. What was that? Okay, the class chondrichthysis were viviparous. Chondrichthysis was viviparous, whereas the osteochthysis is mostly oviparous. Clear? Okay, now going into the next class. The next class is class amphibia. Class amphibia. What does they mean by amphibia? Amphibia means they can live both in water and sand, which means they can live both in land and water. Okay, aquatic as well as terrestrial habitats. Okay, most of them have two pairs of limbs. So till now, till class osteochthysis, we have studied they are having fins, but from here they are having limbs. Okay, from class amphibia they are having limbs. What about their body? Their body is divided into head, trunk. Their body is divisible into head and trunk. Just see this, their body is divided into head and the trunk. Okay, the body is divided into head and trunk. Clear? Okay. Now, what about the skin of amphibian? Whenever you hear the word amphibian, which organism come into your mind? It will be frog, right? So, just think about the frog. The frog can live both in land and water. So, terrestrial and aquatic habitats. What about their body? Their body can be divided into head and trunk. What about their skin? Their skin is moist. The frog is having skin which is moist and there is no scales. Absence of scales. Okay. So, the skin is moist. Skin is moist and without scales. And have you seen the frog? The frog is having eyelids. As we are having eyelids, the frog is also having eyelids. So, their eyes have eyelids and they doesn't have a pinna. Pinna means the ear. Okay. So, their ear is represented just by the tympana. See, their ear is represented just by the tympana. Okay. Represent the air. It represents the ear. Okay. Now, their alimentary canal. In frog or in any amphibians, it's like their alimentary canal, their respiratory, their alimentary, urinary and reproductive tracts, which are these three systems. Their alimentary, which means their digestive system. Okay, their alimentary canal, their urinary and reproductive tracts. All these three will open into a single cavity. All these three will open into a single cavity inside the organism, and that cavity is known as cloaca. Okay, that cavity is known as cloaca, and this cloaca will open to the exterior. This cloaca will open to the exterior. Clear? What are the tracts? Alimentary, urinary and reproductive. Okay, and their respiratory. Their respiration. How does their respiration takes place? Their respiration can either by gills or lungs. Clear? Okay, and can also through skin. Can also be through skin. Now going into their heart. Their heart is mostly three-chambered. Their heart is mostly three-chambered, which means two auricles and one ventricle. Their heart is mostly three-chambered, but crocodiles in amphibians. Crocodile also belongs to, crocodile doesn't belongs to amphibians. Amphibians are usually 3-chambered hearts. Amphibians are having 3-chambered heart, and this 3-chamber means they are having 2 auricles and 1 ventricle. How does it look like? This is 2 auricles. This is first auricle, second auricle, and this is their 1 ventricle. Clear? So this is how their heart look like. So amphibians, just remember, amphibians is having 3-chambered heart. Clear? Okay. They are also cold-blooded animals. Which is also known as Poikilotheriums. Their sexes are separate. Clear? The fertilization is external. Just think of frog. As I said, just think of frog. The fertilization is external, which means they use the help of water for their fertilization. Clear? Okay. They are oviparous, which means they lay eggs. Okay, and their development is direct. Their development is indirect. Just when you hear the class amphibian, just think of frog and you will get everything. Because development also, the frog was first a larvae, then it looks, what does they mean by indirect development? Which means their adult form and larval form will be entirely different in appearance. Okay, clear. But they will mold again and again to form the adult form. So just think of frog, it is having moist skin without scales. They are having limbs instead of fins. They are having limbs. Then they are having eyes. They are having eyelids around the eyes. Then they are having tympanum as their ear. Clear? And what was the other property? All the canals like reproductory, alimentary, and urinary will open into a single cavity, which is known as cloaca, and it opens into exterior. And their heart is 3-chambered heart, and their sexes are separate, cold-blooded, oviparous, and development is indirect. Okay, now just see the examples. Bufo, toad. Bufo is toad, rana is frog, and hyla is tree frog. Salamandra is salamander, and ichthyophis. Ichthyophis is limbless amphibia. Just note ichthyophis because they may ask which organism is known as limbless amphibia. Okay, there is an organism in class amphibia which doesn't have limb. Okay, so ichthyophis. Clear? Now going into the next class. Next class is class reptilia. Okay, why the name reptilia? Reptilia because of their character, which they can creep and crawl. Okay, these organisms usually creep and crawl, so they are known as class reptilia. Clear? And what about their skin? What about their habitat? They are usually terrestrial, which means we usually see them in land areas. Okay, and what about their skin? Their body. Their body is covered by dry and cornified skin. So when you hear the word class reptilia, just remember crocodile. Okay, crocodile is having dry and cornified skin, right? Okay. Now the epidermal scales or scutes. They are also having epidermal scales or scutes. Scales, as we know, they are the scales and scutes. Okay, and they do not have. Okay, just see, these are the thick and cornified scales of reptiles, and they are also having epidermal scales. They are also having, see this, these are the scales. They are also having epidermal scales and scutes. Okay. Now the next character, they do not have external, as we said for amphibia, they also doesn't have external ear openings. They are also represented by the tympanum. The ear is represented here also by tympanum, and they are having limbs. Okay, from the class amphibia they are having limbs. Their limbs when present they are having in 2 pairs. Okay, 2 pairs. And what about their heart? Heart is usually 3-chambered, but in crocodile. This is an exception, and this exception is to be noted. Okay, their heart is usually 3-chambered, but the exception is crocodile. Crocodile is having 4-chambered heart. Okay, what is it? Crocodile is having 4-chambered heart. And what about their, they are also the cold-blooded animals, which means Poikilotheriums. Then snakes and lizard, as you have seen, snakes and lizard will change their skin, which means they will release their skin, they will shed their scales. The scales over the skin of lizard and snake will be shed regularly. Okay, and they are known as skin cast. This shedding of their scales, so that part is known as skin cast. Clear? And the sexes are separate. Sexes are separate. Male and female are in different. Okay. Then the fertilization is internal. They are usually oviparous, which means they lay egg. Just think of crocodile, snake, then lizard. Okay, they are oviparous, and their development is direct, which means their adult form and young form will look similar. So their development is direct. Now what about the examples? Chelone. Chelone is turtle, and with chelone I think there is also a PYQ with chelone. Okay, chelone is turtle. Then testudo. Testudo is tortoise. Tortoise, it's easy to remember. Then chameleon. Chameleon is tree lizard which changes their color according to the environment. Okay. Then calotes, garden lizard. Then crocodilus, which means crocodile. Okay, alligator. Then hemidactylus, which is also known as wall lizard. Okay, hemidactylus, which is also known as wall lizard. Then poisonous snake, naja or cobra. There is a poisonous snake which is cobra, what we all know, it is cobra, and its name is naja. Okay, cobra is also known as naja. Then Bangaras. Bangaras is for crate. Okay, Bangaras is the name of crate, and Vipera for viper. Clear? Now coming into the next class. The next class is class aves. Okay, these mostly consist of the birds. Okay, these what are the characteristics of aves? Aves is birds. Aves means birds. Okay, they are having feathers. When you hear the word class aves, just think of a bird. Okay, clear? And they are having feathers. It's a basic character. Then most of them can fly. Birds can fly, right? Except those birds which can't fly, means flightless birds. And you know the example yourself, which is a flightless bird. It is ostrich. Clear? And they possess a beak. The bird, just think of a bird. The bird will be having a beak. Okay, then their forelimbs are modified into wings. As we said, they are having limbs and they are having two pairs of limbs. So their forelimbs means the limbs present in the front side. Okay, so the forelimbs of these organisms are modified to form wings for their flying. Clear? Okay, then the hind limbs means the limbs which is present in the posterior part. So these limbs will be having scales. Okay, the forelimbs will be modified to form wings, but the hind limbs will be having scales so that they can be used for clasping the branches. Haven't you seen the birds clasping the branches and sitting on the branches? So it's because they are having scales. Okay, scales, and they are modified for walking, swimming, clasping the tree branches. Okay, clear? And what about the skin? The skin is dry. What about the skin of the aves? Aves is having feathers, and beside the feathers their skin is dry. Okay, they are having just one gland. Their skin is usually dry without any other glands, except they are having just one gland, and that gland is oil gland. What is it? Oil gland. And where this gland is present? This gland is present at the base of their tail. Okay, the gland is present at the base of their tail. Then the endoskeleton is fully ossified. The endoskeleton is fully ossified. Okay, the endoskeleton is fully ossified, which means their endoskeleton is fully bony. Okay, and their long bones. They are having long bones, right? As you have seen in birds, the birds will be having long bones, and these long bones will be having holes. Okay, they are having hollow. These long bone of birds will be hollow, which means it will be empty inside the bone. There will be nothing inside the bone. Just see, this is a bone and it will be hollow. It will be hollow, which means it is empty inside the bone. Okay, so and there will also be having air cavities. They will also be having air cavities, which is known as pneumatic. Okay, clear? So the long bones are hollow and they will be having air cavities. And what about the digestive tract? This is an important point to be noted, and it is a previous year question. Okay, the digestive tract of birds have additional chambers. What are the additional chambers of digestive tract of birds? What are they? Crop and gizzard. Just remember the word crop and gizzard. Okay, we usually see it of chicken, crop and gizzard. Like chicken, all the other birds is also having crop and gizzard in their digestive system. These are additional chambers. Okay, clear. Now the heart. What about the heart? Heart is 4-chambered. Again the heart is 4-chambered, 2 auricles and 2 ventricles. Clear? Okay. Then they are warm-blooded till class reptiles, means including class reptiles we have studied. They are poikilotherms, which means they are cold-blooded, which means they can't control their body temperature. But from class aves, they are homeotherms, which means they are warm-blooded and they can control their body temperature. Okay, they are able to maintain a constant body temperature. Clear? Okay. And what about their respiration? Their respiration is by lungs. Okay, they have developed lungs, so their respiration is by lungs. Then the air sacs connected to the lungs supplement their respiration, which means they are having lungs, and along with lungs they have air sacs. What does they have? They have air sacs which are connected to the lungs. Clear? Okay, and this aids in the respiration. Okay. Now the sexes are separate. That is like clear. Sexes are separate. The fertilization is internal. Fertilization happens internal, and they are oviparous. Just think about birds. Doesn't birds lay eggs? Usually birds lay eggs, so they are oviparous. Okay, and the development is also direct. Clear? And what are the examples? The examples are what we see in our daily life. Corvus, crow, then columba, pigeon, psittacula, parrot. Struthio means ostrich. Pavo, peacock. Aptenidites, which means penguin. Okay, neophron is vulture. This neophron is a previous year question, which means they have asked like which of the following belongs to class aves. Okay, so it is neophron. Clear? When we hear the word neophron, we won't go into the thinking that it is a bird, but neophron is a bird which is vulture, which is known as vulture, is also known as neophron. Okay, clear. Now coming into the last class. Okay, class Mammalia. These class Mammalia can be seen in various of habitats. Okay, what are the various of habitats? Polar ice caps, deserts, mountains, forests, grassland and dark caves. Okay, then some of these class Mammalia are adapted to fly. Some of them can fly and some of them can also live in water. Clear? This is variety. This class is having variety of organisms. And what is the most unique feature? This is a PYQ itself. This is itself a PYQ. The most unique character of class Mammalia is the presence of milk producing mammary glands. Okay, the unique property. What is the unique property of class Mammalia? Mammalia is itself meaning that they possess mammary glands which is producing milk. Clear? Okay, then and by this mammary glands their young ones are fed. Okay, the nutrition for their young ones are from the mammary glands. Clear? And they also have 2 pairs of limbs. This class Mammalia is also having 2 pairs of limbs. What are the uses of the limbs? It's basics. Okay, they are used for walking, running, climbing, burrowing, swimming or flying. Okay, clear. Now what about the skin? The skin of mammal has a unique property. What about the skin? The skin of mammals have a unique property. And what is the unique property? Instead of having scales, they are having hairs. Okay, only the mammals are having hairs. So this is a unique property and you have to note it. The skin is having a unique property. What is the unique property? It possesses hair, which means it have hair on its skin. Okay, then they are also having another unique property. What is that? Their ears, external ears or pinna are present instead of tympanum. It means our tympanum, in class Mammalia, the tympanum is inside. We also have tympanum, but the tympanum is present inside. Instead of that, our ear, external ear is pinna. Okay, it is pinna. Now different types of teeth are present for different Mammalia. As we know, we are having teeth like our dentition, which means our teeth are like this, but it will not be same with the other organism in the same class. Okay. Now coming into, okay, so there different types of teeth are present in the jaw. Now their heart is always 4 chambered. Heart is 4 chambered, 2 auricles and 2 ventricles, and they are homeothermous, which means they can have a constant body temperature, and their respiration is by lungs because they have developed lungs. Then their sexes are separate. Okay, fertilization is internal. They are mostly viviparous. They are mostly viviparous, but they have one. They are mostly viviparous, which means they give birth. They give birth to their young ones instead of laying eggs. But there is few exceptions. Okay, there is few exception, and we will study what is the exception. And the development is also direct, which means the young ones resembles the adult ones. Okay. Now firstly coming into the exception of viviparous. All the organisms of class Mammalia are or viviparous, which means they give birth. But the exception is Ornithorhynchus. What is it? Ornithorhynchus. Ornithorhynchus is also known as platypus, and this organism is specifically oviparous, which means they lay egg to produce their younger one. Clear? Everything clear, right? Now going into the viviparous examples. What is viviparous example? Macropus, which means kangaroo. Pteropus, flying fox. These names in the bracket, these are also important, you have to note it. Camelus, which means camel. Macaca is monkey. Rattus is rat. Canis is dog. Felis, cat. Elephas, elephant. Equus, horse. Then Delphinus, common dolphin. Balanotropa is blue whale. Okay. Panthera tigris is tiger, and Panthera leo is lion. Clear? So this was all about class Mammalia, and we have completed the chapter. And before completing the chapter, we have to see each and every pictures, okay, of this phylum Chordata. So this is the first picture. What is it? Petromyzon. Jawless vertebrae, which is Petromyzon. Okay, and this is Scoliodon, and this is Pristis. Scoliodon and Pristis. Okay, and this one is Hippocampus, which is also known as seahorse, and this one is Cutla. This is Salamander, and this one is Rana, which means frog. Okay, this is chameleon, this is crocodilus, this is Chilon, and this is Naja or cobra. Neophron is vulture, Struthio is ostrich, Psittacula is parrot, and Pavo is peacock. And this is platypus. What is it? This is platypus, and this is the exception for viviparous, which means it is oviparous. Okay, and this is kangaroo, Macropus, also known as Macropus, Pteropus, flying fox, and this is Balanotropa. What was Balanotropa? Balanotropa was blue whale. Okay, so this is the completion of chapter Animal Kingdom. Now we will be looking after the PYQs of chapter Animal Kingdom. Okay, now let's go towards the Animal Kingdom PYQs. Okay, which one of the following organism bears hollow and pneumatic long bones? Hollow and pneumatic long bones are seen in class Aves. Okay, so we just have to get which one of the following belongs to class Aves. Okay, Neophron is in Aves, right? So this is the correct answer. Just see, Neophron is correct answer because it belongs to the class Aves, and class Aves have hollow and pneumatic long bones. Okay, hollow and pneumatic long bones. Ornithorhynchus belongs to mammal. Hemidactylus doesn't belong to class Aves, and Macropus also belongs to class Mammalia. Okay, identify the vertebrate group of animals characterized by crop and gizzard. I have said you crop and gizzard is additional chambers. What is crop and gizzard? Crop and gizzard are additional chambers in the digestive system of class Aves. Clear? Just remember the chicken that you eat. Okay. What will you look for identity of the sex of the following? Okay, what will you look for the identity? Female cockroach as having anal cerci. Is it right? Since we haven't studied it till now, we can keep it in guess, okay? But it is not the right answer. Now the male shark is having claspers on pelvic fins. This we have studied today, and male shark is having, male organisms of shark will be having claspers in their fins. Clear? Okay, and this is seen in Chondrichthyes. Okay, class contradict this. So this is the right answer. Female Ascaris is sharply curved posterior end. Even though the female is long, even though the female Ascaris is long, the curved end, sharply curved, even though the female Ascaris is long like this, but the male is having sharply curved end. So that is also wrong. Okay, so the right answer is male shark claspers born on fins. Okay, which among the following is correct combination of aquatic habitat, aquatic mammals? So it should be mammal. First thing is that the three of the given below should be mammals and they should be aquatic. Okay, so whales, dolphins, seals. Whales is not a mammal. Okay, then seals, dolphin, shark is the seals, dolphin and shark. Does shark belong to class Mammalia? No, right? Shark is not in class Mammalia. Whales belong to class Mammalia. Dolphins also belong and seals. Okay, so the answer is whales, dolphin and seals. Which one of the following animals digestive tract has additional chambers? We have discussed crop and gizzard is present in Pavus, Psittacula, Corvus because all three belongs to class Aves. Important characteristic that Hemichordata share with Chordata, which means Hemichordata and Chordata having similar character. What is the similar character? Pharynx without gill slits. Both are having pharynx with gill slits. Okay, so this is the right answer. Pharynx with gill slits. Ventral tubular nerve cord. It is only present. The nerve cord is dorsal in Chordata. So that is not the correct answer. Absence of notochord. Notochord is present in Chordata. So the right answer is pharynx with gill slit. That is their similar character. Okay. Which of the following the genus name and its two character and its phylum are not correctly matched? Okay, not correctly matched. Just while you do the MCQ, just remember that you have to note all the words correctly and you should be clear about it. Not correctly matched. Okay. So Phyla is a mollusk. So that is right. Body is segmented. The body of mollusk is not segmented. So this is wrong. Then mouth with radula, this is right, but still this answer is wrong. Okay. Then Periplaneta, it's having jointed appendages and it is arthropoda, chitinous exoskeleton. That is also right. Asterius is Echinodermata, spiny skinned. That is right. And water vascular system is present in Echinodermata. That is also right. Cycon is pore bearing porifera and they are having canal system. So we have here we have asked about not correctly matched. So the answer is going to be option A. Okay. Clear? Going to next question. Which of the following represent the order of horse? This is now it is not important because it is not given in NCERT. But previously these type of questions were also asked. What is the horse? The order of the horse. The order of the horse is Perissodactyla, I think. Okay. Now taxon mentioned that represent both marine and freshwater. Both marine and freshwater organisms are seen in class phylum Cnidaria. Okay, they are seen in phylum Cnidaria. Okay. Now which group of of animals belong to the same phylum? Which means the group of organism given in the option should belong to the same phylum. Earthworm, pinworm, tapeworm. Even though their names are given, their last names are worm, they doesn't belong to the same phylum. Pinworm and tapeworm is Platyhelminthes, pinworm is roundworm, which means Achilliaminthes, and earthworm is Annelid. So this is the wrong answer. Sponge, sea anemone. Sponge is Porifera, sea anemone is not Porifera, and starfish is Echinodermata. So this is also wrong answer. Malarial parasite, it is Protozoa. Okay, then amoeba, mosquito, they also doesn't belong to the same phylum. So prawn, scorpio, locusta. Okay, prawn is a arthropod, scorpion is arthropod, locusta is also again a arthropod. So option D is the right answer. Going into next question. A marine cartilaginous fish that can produce electric current. This we have studied today, electric current. They are possessing electric current in them. They are torpedo. Okay, torpedo. What was the? So answer is torpedo. Now let's see what was the feature of Trigon. Trigon was having poisonous sting. Okay. Pristis was also known as sawfish. Scoliodon was known as dogfish. Clear? Now match the following. As I said, match the following questions can be expected from this chapter. Okay. Gregarious or gregarious pest. Which is gregarious pest? It is locusta. Okay. Then adult with radial symmetry and larva with bilateral symmetry. It is seen in Asterias, which means it is seen in phylum Echinodermata. Okay. Just by getting 2, we may able to get the answer if it is not similar. Okay. Just see, A is for 4. Okay. There is only one option which starts like this. A is 4, B is for 1, and book lungs is present in, okay, bioluminescence is present in Ctenoplana, phylum Ctenoplana, and book lungs is present in arthropods. Arthropods is possessing book lungs, and scorpion belongs to arthropods. So A for B1, C2 and D3. This is the answer. Option B is the right answer. Okay. Going into next question. Which of the following animal does not undergo metamorphosis? What do you mean by metamorphosis? Which means their transformation from the adult, from the young form to adult form. Okay, from there. Okay, so this comes to be starfish, tunicate, earthworm and moth. Okay, the earthworm is possessing direct development, which means they are not having indirect development. They are not changing their shape, they are not changing their body. Earthworm is having direct development, which means their adult form and young form look similar, whereas in moth, starfish and tunicate, they are having indirect development, which means they undergo metamorphosis. Clear? Which one of the group of animals is correctly matched with its characteristic feature without any exception? Which means the given is their characteristic feature. If there is no exception in that rule, then it is right. Okay, let's check. Chordata possess a mouth with an upper and lower jaw. Every chordata is not having jaw, right? There is agnatha and gnathostomata. So this is wrong. Mammalia give birth to young ones. Even though it is mostly correct, they also lay eggs. For example, Ornithorhynchus, which is also known as platypus. Clear? Now, chondrichthyes possess cartilaginous endoskeleton. This is right because there is no exception in this rule. Clear? So, option C is the right answer. Just look at this also. Reptilia possess 3-chambered heart with an incompletely divided ventricle. It is wrong because reptilia, crocodile belongs to reptilia and crocodile has 4-chambered heart. It is an exception. Okay. Which one of the following pairs of animals are similar to each other pertaining to the features stated against them? Okay. Which are similar to each other? Garden lizard and crocodile. 3-chambered heart. Is it right? No. Crocodile is having 4-chambered heart. So, it is wrong. Ascaris and Ankylostoma, metameric segmentation. Ascaris and Ankylostoma, they are not having segmentation. So, that is also wrong. Then, Pteropus and Ornithorhynchus. Ornithorhynchus is having oviparity, which means they lay eggs. Okay, seahorse and flying fish, both are cold-blooded. Right. So, option D is going to be the right answer. Okay. One of the representative of phylum Arthropoda, which is having jointed appendages. Flying fish is present in Chordata. Okay, flying fish is in phylum Chordata. Cuttlefish is again in phylum Chordata. Puffer fish is also again in phylum Chordata. They are trying to confuse you. Silverfish is a arthropod. Okay. Metagenesis. What is metagenesis? Metagenesis is the alternation of generation between asexual and sexual phases of an organism. Metagenesis. We have studied metagenesis in NEET area, where the polyps forms medusa by asexual reproduction and medusa form polyps by sexual reproduction. Okay. Exoskeleton of arthropods is composed of chitin. Exoskeleton of arthropod is composed of chitin. In case of poriferans, spongocoel is lined. As I said yesterday, the spongocoel. Spongocoel is the cavity. Spongocoel is the cavity of sponges. This cavity will be lined by some cells, some collar cells, and their name is choanocytes. Clear? Which one of the following group of animals will produce only by sexual means? Which is that? Phylum Ctenoplana. Okay, Ctenophora. Phylum Ctenophora. Clear? Now choose the correct statement. All reptiles are having 3-chambered heart. No, crocodile is having 4-chambered. All fishes have gills covered by an operculum. No, the chondrichthysis is having gills covered by gills in chondrichthysis. In chondrichthysis, we have studied the differentiating points of chondrichthysis and osteichthysis. Okay, in chondrichthysis, operculum is absent. Operculum is absent in chondrichthysis, and in osteichthysis, operculum is present. So this is wrong. All mammals are viviparous. That is also wrong. All cyclostomes do not possess jaw and paired fins. That is right. So option D is the correct statement. Which one of the following characteristic is mainly responsible for diversification of insects on land? What is the characteristic? Okay. So insect on land. All the insect on land will be having their exoskeleton. Clear? Now a jawless fish which lays eggs in fresh water and whose ammocytes larvae after metamorphosis return to the ocean. Okay, this we have studied, and this property is seen in class Cyclostomata, which means their adult will be migrating into the fresh water, and they produce their younger ones there, and this younger ones after developing from their larvae, they will migrate back into the ocean, and it is seen in class Cyclostomata. And what is the example for Cyclostomata? Petromyzon. What is it? Petromyzon. Okay. Which one of these animals is not a homeotherm? Which one of this is not a homeotherm? Homeotherm means they can regulate their body temperature, which means they can have a constant body temperature. Is not a homeotherm. Okay. Camelus is mammal. The camelus is mammal, and the macropus is also mammal, and Psittacula is aves, but aves is also having warm blood. Only the Chelone is the only one which is having cold blood. So the answer is option A. Okay, clear. Match the following. Phyla is a mollusc and it is having radula. Bombyx is arthropod and it is having Malpighian tubule. So A is for 3 and B is for 4. A3B4. So B will be the correct option. Pleurobrachia is having complex and Taenia is platyhelminthes which have flame cells. Clear? Ophiura is brittle star which belongs to Echinodermata. So option 3. 1, 3 and Physalia is Portuguese man of war which is present in Cnidarium. Okay. Cnidaria which is also known as Coelenterata. Okay, Physalia. 2 for 4. Okay, so 1 for 3 and 2 for 4. Pinctada is Mollusca. So 1 for 2 3. 1 for where is it? 1 3 2 4. 1 3 2 4 3 1 and Planaria is platyhelminthes. Clear? Okay. Which one of the following statement is totally wrong about the occurrence of notochord? It is present throughout life in amphictyons. What is meant by amphictyons? Amphictyons is cephalochordate. Does it is present in cephalochordate throughout the life? It is present. Okay, it is absent throughout life in humans from the very beginning. It is wrong because in humans it is present in embryonic stage. Then it is present only in larval tail in Ascidian. Okay, it is replaced by vertebral column in adult frog. Which one of the following is totally wrong? Okay, so it is present in the larval tail of Ascidian because Ascidian is Urochordata and it is only present in the larval tail. Okay, it is replaced by vertebral column. In chordates, the notochord is replaced by vertebral column. So the totally wrong statement is option D. It is absent throughout life in humans from very beginning. Okay, given below are two statements. Assertion and reason. This is the question what I was referring to. All vertebrates are chordates but all chordates are not vertebrates. This is right. It is a statement as it is in NCERT. Okay. What is the reason? Notochord is replaced by vertebral column in adult vertebrates. Okay. So this is the reason. So the assertion is right. The reason is also right. Because the vertebrates, the notochord is replaced by vertebral column. And the second one is the reason for the first statement. So option C, both A and R are correct and R is the correct explanation of A. Which one of the following statement are true for phylum Chordata? Okay, in Urochordata, notochord extend from head to tail. Is it right? No, because it is only present in the larval tail. Okay, in vertebrata, notochord is present during embryonic period only. So it is right. B is right. Central nervous system is dorsal and hollow. That is also right. Central nervous system is dorsal, hollow and single. Okay. Chordata is divided into 3 subphyla. Chordata is not divided into Chordata. Chordata is divided into 3 subphyla, but which is the correct answer? Chordata is divided into Urochordata or Tunicata, Cephalochordata and Vertebrata. Clear? These are the 3 subphyla we are studying about. So the answer is B and C, option C. Okay. Which one of the match the following? Phyla is Portuguese man of war. Limulus is living fossil, which is also known as king crab. Ankylostoma is hookworm. Pinctada is pearl oyster. Okay. So just match the following, then you will get the answer. Which of the following animals is not viviparous? Platypus. Platypus, which is also known as Ornithorhynchus, is oviparous. Okay. So option A is right. Which one of the following feature is not present in phylum Arthropoda? Which means which is not the character of phylum Arthropoda. Chitinous exoskeleton is present in phylum Arthropoda, that is right. Jointed appendages is also present in phylum Arthropoda, and metameric segmentation is also present in phylum Arthropoda. But parapodia, which means lateral appendage, parapodia is lateral appendage and it is present in Annelida, not in Arthropoda. So the right answer for the question is option D, parapodia. Okay. So this was all about PYQs of this chapter. So by this we are completing animal kingdom also. So the next chapter we are going to do is structural organism of organization of animals. Okay. So till then, goodbye. Thank you for listening to me.